The year is 1765. In the Grand Biebrich Palace, Princess Amalia of Nassau-Alberg, age 17, is known for her quiet demeanor, her skill at embroidery, and her flawless French. This is the only version of her the court is permitted to see. Her true self lives in a disused solar, hidden behind a heavy tapestry depicting a stag hunt. The room smells not of perfume, but of mineral oil, hot metal, and melting wax. Here, by the light of a dozen carefully placed candles, Amalia is not a princess, but a master horologist and automaton maker. Her fingers, which courtiers praise for their delicacy on the harpsichord, are calloused and often smudged with graphite. Spread across a massive oak workbench are schematics that would rival a royal architect's, detailing escapements, spring mechanisms, and the intricate articulation of limbs. Her current project is a life-size silver swan. With each turn of a hidden key, its head will dip to preen its feathers, its eyes of polished sapphire seeming to track movement. This is more than a hobby. It is an obsession, a secret world of logic and precision in a life governed by arbitrary tradition and duty. She knows this passion would be seen as unladylike at best, and, at worst, a sign of a dangerously masculine, even deranged mind. The ticking of 100 tiny, hidden hearts is the only music she truly loves. The announcement comes during a formal family dinner. The air is thick with the scent of roasted quail and beeswax candles. Her father, Charles August, Prince of Nassau-Alberg, does not look at her as he speaks. Her hand, holding a silver fork, freezes mid-air. A marriage has been arranged. The groom is Duke Friedrich of Mecklenburg-Schwerin, a man twice her age known for his military prowess, his vast wealth, and his unyielding pragmatism. He is a political giant, and this union will secure her family's dynasty for a generation. Amalia feels the walls of her hidden workshop begin to close in. Her mother speaks of the magnificent court she will preside over, the jewels she will wear, the power she will wield as duchess. To Amalia, it sounds like a gilded cage. Friedrich is a man of armies and ledgers, not of art or philosophy. How could he ever understand the symphony of a perfectly balanced flywheel or the soul she breathes into her creations? Her future is no longer a complex equation she can solve with logic and ingenuity. It is a blunt, unchangeable decree. That night, she does not work on her swan. She sits in the cold, dark workshop, staring at its inert form, a silver ghost of the freedom she is about to lose. The silence is deafening. Duke Friedrich arrives with the cold precision of a military campaign. His entourage is disciplined, his manners impeccable, and his eyes are like chips of winter ice. He is tall and broad-shouldered, filling the room with an aura of absolute authority. When he takes Amalia's hand, his grip is firm and impersonal. He compliments her beauty, her poise, and the political value of their union with the same detached tone he might use to assess a new canon. Amalia performs her role flawlessly. She curtsies, she smiles demurely, she speaks of the weather and her admiration for his duchy. Inside, she is conducting a frantic analysis. She observes the way he dismisses an aide with a flick of his fingers, the way his eyes scan the room for threats and assets, not for beauty. He sees a world of power, of pieces on a board. He looks at her and sees a valuable pawn, a future mother to his heir, a decorative emblem of his status. He does not see the mind behind her eyes, the creator who can craft life from metal. The conversation is a hollow dance of pleasantries, each word driving home the vast, unbridgeable chasm between them. He is a man of iron will. She is a woman of iron gears. The wedding date is set. The palace is a flurry of activity. Dressmakers, jewelers, and diplomats swarm the halls. Amalia feels herself suffocating, her identity being tailored and stitched into the shape of a duchess. In a moment of sheer desperation, she confides in her lady-in-waiting, Clara, the one person she trusts. One evening, she leads a terrified Clara behind the stag tapestry. The gas Clara lets out is one of pure, unadulterated shock. She stares at the menagerie of ticking, whirring creatures as if they were born of sorcery. Amalia, her hands trembling slightly, picks up a small, unassuming wooden box. She presents it to Clara and shows her how to turn the key. A tiny, perfect rose, carved from ivory, slowly blooms from the top of the box, its petals unfurling in a silent, breathtaking sequence before retreating back into the wood. Clara is speechless, her fear melting into awe. "You made this?" she whispers. Amalia nods, her eyes pleading. "He will never understand," Amalia says, her voice barely audible. "He will see this as a flaw, a madness." Clara, finally grasping the gravity of the secret, looks from the blooming rose to her princess's anguished face. "Then we must ensure he never sees," Clara vows, but her voice wavers with the weight of the secret she now carries. In the final weeks before her wedding, Amalia works with a feverish intensity she has never known. Sleep is a luxury, food an afterthought. She channels all her fear, her genius, and her silent rebellion into a single, magnificent creation, a wedding gift for the Duke. It is not jewelry or a painted portrait, but a masterpiece of her secret art. It is a golden nightingale, life-sized and perched on a silver branch. Every feather is individually filigreed and layered. Its eyes are tiny black diamonds, but its true magic is hidden within. It is not merely a music box. Using a complex system of cams, bellows, and tune pipes she designed herself, the nightingale, when wound, does not play a set melody. It sings a randomized, non-repeating song, a feat of mechanical engineering and artistry that should be impossible. It is the culmination of all her knowledge, a mechanical soul. She works until her fingers bleed, polishing the silver, tuning the pipes, perfecting the subtle movements of its head and beak. This gift is a monumental gamble. It is the truest expression of her soul she can offer. He will either see it as a miracle of ingenuity and value the mind that made it, or he will see it as a monstrous oddity and confirm her deepest fears. On the eve of her departure, she packs it herself into a velvet-lined crate, a fragile declaration of war against the future he has planned for her. On their wedding night, in the Duke's starkly masculine private chambers in Schwerin Castle, the air is thick with unspoken expectations. Servants have been dismissed. Friedrich, having fulfilled his public duties, regards his new bride with a cool, proprietary air. This is the moment. With a pounding heart, Amalia gestures to the plain wooden crate. "I have a gift for you, Your Grace," she says, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. Intrigued, he opens it. He lifts out the golden nightingale, his initial expression one of mild appreciation for its craftsmanship. He assumes it's a costly trinket from her father. "It is beautiful," he says, his tone polite but dismissive. "It is from me," Amalia clarifies. She takes a small, gold key from her reticule. "If I may." He nods, a flicker of curiosity in his eyes. She inserts the key and turns it. For a moment, there's only a soft whirring. Then, the nightingale's head lifts, its beak opens, and a song spills into the silent room. It is not a tinny, repetitive jingle, but a fluid, complex melody, full of trills and arpeggios that sound impossibly alive. Friedrich's polite smile vanishes, replaced by utter, profound shock. He stares at the bird, then at Amalia. The look on his face is not anger or delight. It is pure, unnerving confusion, as if she had just performed an act of impossible magic right before his eyes. The song fills the silence, and he has no words. The Duke's confusion festers. He keeps the nightingale locked in his study, occasionally winding it in private, baffled by its genius. He says nothing to Amalia about it, but secrets in a court are like water. They find every crack. A chambermaid, cleaning the Duke's study, hears the bird's song. Peeking through the keyhole, she sees the Duke mesmerized by the living toy. Soon, whispers begin. How could the new Duchess, a young woman, create such a thing? The explanation that follows is insidious and rooted in the superstitions of the age. It is not genius, is witchcraft. The whispers say she binds spirits into her creations, that her workshop in Biebrich was a place of dark rituals. The Duke's council, old and conservative men, hear the rumors. They see Amalia's quiet nature not as demure, but as secretive and unnatural. They pressure the Duke. This clockwork sorcery is an embarrassment, a potential scandal that could undermine his authority. Is his wife mad? Or worse, is she in league with dark forces? The rumor mill, fed by fear and jealousy of the foreign princess, grinds relentlessly. Amalia feels the court's atmosphere change from feigned politeness to open hostility. The courtiers' smiles are now edged with fear, their whispers following her like a plague. Friedrich is cornered. His chief minister, Baron von Hesse, formally presents the court's concerns. Your Grace, the woman is an oddity. They speak of witchcraft. At the very least, her mind is unsuitably occupied. A duchess should produce heirs, not trinkets. It reflects poorly on your strength. You must repudiate her, or at least confine her. Friedrich listens, his face an unreadable mask of stone. He is a pragmatist. The political arguments are sound. An unstable, eccentric wife is a liability. His court demands action. His reputation is at stake. That night, he goes to his study. He dismisses the baron's words, the whispers, the political calculations. He places the golden nightingale on his desk and winds it. The impossible, beautiful song fills the room again. He picks up the bird, feeling its weight, its cold, metallic reality. Witchcraft? No. A spirit? No. This was not magic. This was order, complexity, and a level of genius he could barely comprehend. It was a mind at work, a mind that had created this marvel for him. He looks from a bird to the door of his wife's chambers. For the first time, he is not thinking of her as a political asset or a vessel for his dynasty. He is thinking of the person who conceived of this. His dilemma is no longer political. It is personal. Who is this woman he married? The next day, Duke Friedrich summons Amalia. She enters his study expecting a verdict. Annulment, confinement, disgrace. She has steeled herself for the end. The Duke is standing by the window, the nightingale in his hand. He turns to her, and for the first time, she sees not a ruler, but a man grappling with a revelation. The court believes you are a witch, he says bluntly. Amalia flinches, but says nothing. He continues, witchcraft is chaos. This, he says, holding up the bird, is the opposite of chaos. This is order, a magnificent, intricate order. He walks towards her. Show me, he says, his voice quiet but firm. Show me how. That is the turning point. Publicly, Friedrich becomes more protective of his wife. He quashes the rumors with brutal efficiency, presenting her to the world as a delicate, conventional duchess. Her public life becomes even more restricted, a performance of perfect normalcy. But secretly, he becomes her patron. He has the castle's disused North Tower converted into a state-of-the-art workshop, far grander than her attic room, complete with a forge and the finest tools from across Europe. Their marriage becomes a secret partnership. By day, they're the Duke and Duchess. By night, he sits for hours in her workshop, watching in silent, fascinated respect as she designs and builds her automata, two brilliant minds in a shared, hidden world. Decades pass. The Duke and Duchess of Mecklenburg-Schwerin are known as a powerful, if somewhat distant, couple. They have heirs securing the dynasty. Duchess Amalia is remembered in official histories as a pious, reserved consort, a model of feminine virtue. She dies at an old age, her state funeral a grand affair. The Duke outlives her by 5 years, a grim, silent man until the end. After his death, when the castle's treasures are catalogued, an astonishing discovery is made in the North Tower. A collection of the most advanced and beautiful automata in the world is found. There is a silver swan that dips its head to drink from a mercury pool, a peacock that fans its tail of sapphire and emerald, a miniature orchestra of clockwork musicians that plays Vivaldi, and of course, a golden nightingale that sings an ever-changing song. With no record of their creator, court historians attribute the collection to an anonymous, reclusive genius whom the Duke must have secretly employed. The Master of Schwerin, they call him. Amalia's name is never connected. Her secret is kept, but a quiet legend persists among the castle staff, passed down through generations. A whisper of the Clockwork Duchess, the silent woman who built a world of life from metal in the lonely North Tower, her secret heart ticking away, safe in the iron grip of the only man who ever truly saw her.